I am very pleased that three governments, both the United Kingdom, the Czech Republic, and the Slovak Republic, have the same opinion on the imminent need to change the price of electricity. This is the first step to get out of the huge crisis in which the European Union is at the moment, a crisis that can lead the whole European Union to misfortune in the event of a failure of the European Commission and the European Union. I think this is the main message. Today, we recommend to the President of the European Commission and all other joint positions that we have taken. These positions are also other things regarding the automotive industry, the common European market, simply a holistic, complex view of the three countries, which should be done in the near future to look at the competitiveness of the European Union. Therefore, allow me to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that together we have agreed on a declaration that very clearly names the positions of the three member states of the European Union, which form the Slovak format, to the summit on Thursday, and very clearly sets the priorities that we must focus on at this summit. I will not go into all the topics that this declaration covers, but I will touch only on one, which I have insisted on my colleagues and friends, so that on Thursday we can launch a joint statement to the European Commission, and that is the question of the price of electricity. We cannot compete with the world if we have several times higher prices of electricity, as we see in China, India, or other regions of the world. If we genuinely care about something, then we have a duty to speak out in a genuine way about the state of the European Union. I must state that we are fighting an unprecedented, challenging situation when it comes to the competitiveness of the European Union, above all, the ability of the Union to compete with other regions of the world and other powers. We can take care of this situation ourselves because we have set various ambitious climate goals that have caused other regions of the world to run away from us. And we look with great concern at what will happen in the European area, not in 10 years, 15 years, but what will happen in the second half of this year and what will happen in 2027. And please do not overdo it. If I realize how small economies are, how open economies are, how Slovakia is dependent on developed economic countries, such as Germany, if we see how the economy of Germany and other powers is developing at the moment, I must express great concern about what can happen in Slovakia in the coming months and years. If we say that the European Union is weak, then it is not weak only in terms of competitiveness. We are weak also because, ladies and gentlemen, we are not able to have our own sovereign European foreign policy. We are not able to formulate common positions that would unite us, and these are issues that clearly divide us. And I say that we are weak, so we are weak because very few people take the European Union seriously. Great powers prefer bilateral negotiations with member states over negotiations with representatives of the European Union. And if I say that we are weak in the European Union, it is also because we lack political leadership. I hope that no one is angry if I use the expression that we act like a herd of sheep without a shepherd. We cannot compete with the world if they often overrule senseless, ambitious climate goals. Therefore, if nothing else, if only one informal conclusion would be reached on Thursday, and that we would start lowering the price of electricity, I would consider this informal summit a huge success, because then the formal conclusions would be accepted at the Standard Summit that will take place in March in Brussels. What are we talking about? We are talking about the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that it is impossible for us to produce electricity in Slovakia for 50 euros per megawatt, and then have to buy it for 100 euros and more. It is impossible for us to close factories in Slovakia that are ecologically safe and that produce strategic raw materials such as primary coal. This is a well-known example, and it is a textbook example of what can happen when ambitious, senseless climate goals prevail over common sense.